Yeah. Once again, if all of the inductees could make their way down to the marketplace area, Boo Boo Lee is going to put you in line alphabetically. And then we'll do the 93 and 94 basketball teams. If you guys could make your way over there. To the Ralph Viola, and then after, I do special guests. Okay, there's no So we have. I mean, we could almost start with it. Yeah, 150. Let me get some. Yep. I know. We are now approximately 5 minutes away from our introductions. As soon as Hartford Public High School Sports Hall of Fame President Mike Forrest gives us the word, we will start. Still putting a few people in line. Yeah. We're ready? All right. Attention all attendees, we are ready to begin. My name is John Baresi, your MC for the evening. It's a pleasure to be here. Frank Giannini just showed up. Yeah, he was in the bullpen. Give it up for Frank Giannini. I might say this again, but it is an honor to call the following individuals and to spend an early evening with you talking about some true legends from the great city of Hartford. And we are going to start with the following individuals. I'm going to call him, okay? Michael, here we go. Leading the field, we have 1971 football, Ken Bailey. Harry Bellucci, coach, football, swimming, and golf. Bellucci. (1976) track, Doriel Furtado, fruit. Mariela Gonzalez, 2001 softball, basketball, volleyball. Gonzalez. Hiram Harrington, 1990, football and track. (1964) baseball, Richard Hollowa. Hollowa. Represented by his brother Brian, because he is currently in the military, deployed in California. He's in charge of security at the base that he is stationed in, and they were like, there's no way you can leave. So representing Charles Chuck Gallagher, 2007, football, swimming, and golf, his brother, Brian Gallagher. 1995, football, Deshaun Jennings. 2014, football and basketball. Put your earplugs in. Richard Jernigan. (2009) football and track, Andre Lawrence. Jimmy LaJoy, 1969, basketball and baseball, LaJoy. Next up, Coach Joe Lombardo, baseball and basketball, Lombardo. Representing her brother, Richard Martinez, 1995, basketball and baseball, Sasha Martinez. It's the year 2000, swimming and track, Nelita Nelly Morales. Richard Moran, 2006, football and track. Moran, football and track. Okay. 2009, football and golf, Matt Noble. (1972) basketball and track, Nick Oliver. Devin Torres, 2006, football. Pedro Vega, 1990, gymnastics and swimming. And Kiwan Ware, 1993, baseball, football, basketball. We are also honored tonight with two of the all-time great teams in pub history, the 93 and 94 basketball teams. We're going to read all of the coaches and players, and then we'll call them up individually when we do the ceremony. Representing the 93 and 94 teams, Coach Sam Perkowski and Coach Steve Waterman. And you guys, and we'd like you guys to go to your tables. Okay, here we go. 1994, Devon Biggins. 1993, Luis Caballero. Marcus Camby, 93. Tavar Kloss, 93. Courtney Dunstan, 93 and 94. Dunstan. Brian Ewing, 1994. Devin Fairley, represented by brother David Fairley, 1994 team. Steve Jernigan, 94. Keith Kendall, 93. Represented by his sister, Lisa Lazarus for Kevin Lazarus. Ira Lynch, 94, represented by brother Zarel Stallings. Richard Martinez once again, and Sasha Martinez. Kendrick Moore, 93 and 94, Moore. Eric Rosario, 1994. Anthony Russell, 93, Russell. Jonas Sutton, 1994. Ed Thomas, 94. Michael Thompson, 93 and 94. Thompson. Jerome Walker, 94. Steve White, 93. Tyrone White, 93. And Ronald Williams, 93. I'm going to introduce you now. Okay. And if we could have the 93 and 94 teams please go to their tables, we are going to move to the next part of our evening. All right, here we go. Hey, welcome everybody to this beautiful evening. It is now our honor to have come up to the podium the man who really, if there's one individual you could say is responsible for this event, the president of our committee, and we're going to talk about the committee a little bit today, Mike Forrest. Welcome, Mike Forrest.
Thanks, John. First of all, what a venue. I want to thank the Yard Goats for kind of helping us out here, and a beautiful day and a beautiful venue for our induction ceremony. So this is the 13th Hartford Public High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The hall was started in 2002, and since then we've inducted over 200 athletes and coaches and 5 championship teams. Since 2016, the Hall of Fame has provided 42 seniors at Hartford Public scholarship assistance. We also support programs at the high school, and a few years back, we started an annual contribution to Hartford Promise. Our means of raising funds is our annual golf tournament. We had one in September at Goodwin Park in Hartford. It was a huge success. So we're more than just a Hall of Fame. We're also trying to give back to the community, especially in the Hartford area. So, and of course, Hartford Public. For those that are getting inducted today, both the team members and the individual inductees, we need your support going forward so that the Hall of Fame can remain strong and vibrant. And the inductees today in those two basketball teams, they're a great example of what the second oldest high school in America can produce. The basketball teams at the end of the year were #1 in the state of Connecticut, and dominant teams. So I'd like to, John Barisi is going to be our master of ceremonies, and I'm going to not do him much justice, but he's done our last 7 ceremonies. He takes these really good stories and makes them even better. So he'll do a great job. Yesterday, he's announces it in other venues, like he was at the Hartford Marathon yesterday. I'm sure he had a full day, and hopefully he has enough energy to get us through today. And so John's a great MC, and we're glad to have him. Next up is Frank Giannini. So Frank is the current athletic director at Hartford Public, and Frank wants to say a few words. So here's Frank. Thank you all. Have a good day.
We'll make it quick. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frank Giannini. I am the athletic director at Hartford High. It's so nice to see so many people that I know, so many friends, so many acquaintances, so many friends of Hartford Public High School. I thank you all for being here. I think Mike gave me 2 minutes. I timed myself, and I was 2 minutes, 10 seconds. So I'm going to need 10 more seconds. I just want to ask you right off the bat. Let's see where we're going to go. What I'm going to tell you here is the state of Hartford High, briefly, the state of athletics, and our scholarship, the Hall of Fame scholarship. So let me move on here. State of Hartford High, we're still one school. We've been one school for maybe around 5 years, and we just have a newly appointed principal, Elvis Minga. She was part of the school system. She started out as a teacher at Hartford High, worked at central office for a few years. The last 2 years, she's been an assistant principal at our school, and now she's been appointed our new principal. So that's news on our principal. State of athletics. The big news is we left the CCC, with the Central Connecticut Conference, and we went to the crawl, and this is our first year in the crawl. We're doing very well, and I'll talk a little bit more on that. The crawl is the Central Regional Athletic League, and moving forward, all of the Hartford schools are going to be part of the crawl. The last school to get in is SMSA, which they'll start next year. So all of the Hartford schools will be in one league. Think about it. Those of you who remember the CDC, anybody remember the CDC? Some show of hands. I don't know. We're a group that's getting smaller. So it's going to be sort of like the old CDC in a way, not totally exactly, but that's where we're heading with athletics. Our teams are all doing well. Boys soccer, girls volleyball, they've all earned the right to play in their conference tournaments, the state tournaments. Football's won 2 games, and they still have to play half of their schedule. So we're all doing well. I get a lot, moving along, I have a lot of questions about the Turkey Day game. As of right now, it hasn't been scheduled, but Hartford High is willing to play. We're trying to work something out to get something done. So hopefully in a month or so, we'll be playing football. So I wanted to kind of update people on that. And the last thing I want to talk about is the Hall of Fame scholarship. And these funds go to our most needy student athletes. Without your help, without your financial help and support, some of these athletes wouldn't be able to go to college. It makes a difference in their lives. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of the contribution. To kind of conclude here, if you're ever around Hartford High and we have an athletic event, Come on in, enjoy, come watch a game if you can, and thank you for supporting Hartford Public and tonight. Enjoy the afternoon.
Thank you, Frank. Before we go to dinner, we'd like to make a special announcement and then honor or introduce some special guests who are here. So you are going to hear a lot of names tonight. So if you grew up in the greater Hartford area and you were a sports fan, you will hear some names tonight that are synonymous with this area. You cannot think of Hartford Public without knowing this name. And there will be several people tonight that we will honor in that manner. The first one is Ralph Viola. In the words of one Hall of Fame committee member, they said, look, in the history of Hartford High, Ralph is a significant person. You could almost call him one of those Mr. Hartford Public, the way Betty Gunn could be called Mrs. Hartford Public. He was captain of the UConn men's swimming team. He was a Hartford Public graduate in 1949. He was the winner of the Wickham Award, best athlete in the class of 49. He starred in swimming, baseball, and football. At Hartford Public, he was in the Hall of Fame induction at 2003, and of course, we know him as a longtime educator and coach at Hartford Public High School. He started the Glenbrook Swim Club at East Hartford High, and when he was an athlete, and you're gonna get a number of these tonight. He was a scholar athlete. He won a Wise Scholar where he got to go to Europe and study for over a week. He unfortunately passed away July 26, 2024. At this time, we would like to have a moment of silence to honor Ralph Viola. Thank you. Here are some other names that we know of besides Ralph Viola. Robert Lee, class of 76. Where are you, Robert? Where's Boo Boo? Friend to all right there. Betty Gunn, coach, Hartford Public High School. She's here. Over there. Hall of Fame inductee and coach, Jack LaPlante. Come on, Jack. Peter Odlum, 1963, member of the Basketball New England Champions. Pete's with us today. Brendan Lynch, Hartford Public High School Hall of Fame, 1964. Vincent Ethier, 1980, Hall of Fame member. I think Vincent was over there. Gaetano Fazio, 1968, Hall of Fame member. We'd like to welcome Paul McBride, 1964. He's our Hall of Fame member, Paul McBride. Back there. Juanito Dominguez, class of 1990. And we'd like to recognize Lynn Dennis, class of 1978, all the way back there. And Howie Dickenman, UConn and Central coach. Just walked in. Welcome, Howie Dickerman. Just in the nick of time. All right, I think there's only one thing to do right now. It's time to feast. We would like dinner to be served now. Okay, we would like the Baileys to go first. And we're going to go right up here. You're up front. You're up front. The Baileys will go first. And the Bellucci family. So we're going to go Bailey and Bellucci families. So we'll call you up pretty much by the way we were introduced here.
Hey, folks to the left can go and get in line for food to the left if you want. Okay?
And at this time, if any table has not gone up, other tables may go to the lines. There are two lines, one over here and one over there. So if you'd like to make your way to the buffets, now all of the other tables may head to the buffets. Thank you, sir. choice. Although this kind of.
Nothing's changed, it ain't hard to define. Jesse's got himself a girl and I wanna make her mine. And she's watching him with those eyes, and she's loving him with that body, I just know it. And he's holding her in his arms late, late at night. You know I wish that I had Jesse's girl. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman like that? Does she ring? That doesn't seem to be a reason to change. You know I feel so dirty when they start talking cute. I wanna tell her that I love her, but the point is probably moot. 'Cause she's watching him with those eyes, and she's loving him with that body, I just know it. And he's holding her in his arms late, late at night. You know I wish that I had Jesse's girl. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman like that, like Jesse's girl? I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman? Where can I find a
Attention all attendees, we will start our ceremony in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And we'd also like to recognize Eli Joseph over there. Hall of Fame member just showed up. Eli Joseph. And would also like to thank Andre right over here. All of the visual effects you see up here and the any sound, compliments of Andres. Thank you, Andres. We are now looking at 5 minutes until the start of the ceremony. 5 minutes.
But now you feel like I say, you look at me and you see
And at this time, if we could all please start making our way to our tables, please. We're hoping to start in 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Michael, you ready? All right. And President Michael Forrest has given us a 1-minute warning now. 1 minute, and we will start calling up our attendees and the athletes who we will be inducting into the Hall of Fame. And if we could have Robert Lee, please come up to the stage. Robert Lee. Robert Lee, Mike Forrest wants you. So the way it's going to work is like this. We will have our inductees. They're going to come up on the stage. We're going to have them sit right here. We will read their biography, and then they will receive their plaque. We have our official photographer right here, but if anybody, of course, wants to take their own photos, they'll be sitting right here, and Michael and Boo Boo will be handing them their plaques. All right, final call. If you could please make your way to your tables, because we are set to bring up our first individual.
Can we have everybody sit down? Yeah. Lower those tones, please.
All right, Boo Boo, you tell me when.
Hello? No, you got it.
You set?
All right, let's go.
Okay. All right, we're ready to go. Welcome to Yard Goats Duncan Stadium. This is a pretty cool venue, and maybe we can keep doing this here. Hey, how about a round of applause for the venue? I'm only going to say this once. This is what it is. Mike Forrest wanted me to give him some information about like why I'm up here and all that sort of stuff, and really, so I've been doing this since 2010, and nobody really knows who I am, and I think that's actually the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to know who the inductees, who they are, and not who the person is up here talking to you. So why am I up here? I'm up here because I worked very closely with one of the all-time greats, Lindy Remigino. I worked his track meets for him, and I worked very closely with the Remigino family in a number of high school and college track meets. I'm also a resident of Hartford. I live a few houses down from one of the inductees today. I worked at the Hartford Civic Center. I cleaned up a coffee spill with Cat Francis, the general manager of the Hartford Whalers. My first high school crush was a Hartford Public High School track athlete named Betty Gregory. When I'd see her at track meets, she would just walk right by me. But I will say this, it's an honor to be up here talking about people that I personally have actually read about in the Hartford Courant. I'm not an online person whatsoever, so now I'm not reading stuff like that. But back in the day, 70s and 80s especially, you would love to see the Hartford Courant or the Hartford Times come to your door, and I would read that sports page right through. And there was always somebody from Hartford Public in the sports page. Always. Now, I'm sure we are surrounded by people who are great athletes, but the athletes that we are inducting today, they're also like legitimate football players, legitimate basketball players. I had the honor of being a track athlete at Central Connecticut, and I competed with Adrian Pitts, Hall of Fame member from Hartford Public, and Sonia Cruz, Hall of Fame member from Hartford Public. And I love this story. One of our track athletes said, "You know what I love about having Adrian and Sonia on our track team? They make us legitimate." It's like, yeah, those are real track athletes right there. We're guys that could just run okay. So tonight, we introduct urban legends, because we are in Hartford, and we are going to start with one of the all-time greats from the 70s. And I asked them, look, is the golden era of sports at Hartford Public the 70s? And somebody behind me said, no, it's the 60s. And then his brother said, no, it's the 50s. Well, we're going to go with the 70s right now, and one of the all-time greats, Ken Bailey, 1971. Also known as Tank. And they called him Tank because when it came down to short yardage and you needed short yardage, you handed the ball off to Tank, and he always got the job done. Ken Bailey was a star running back on one of Hartford Public's strongest teams ever. The Hartford Public football program had some struggles in the 60s, but had a solid group heading into the fall of 1970. A turnaround was coming, and Ken Bailey was going to be a big part of it. Highlights in the season were co-captain Bailey's 5 touchdowns and 2 conversions for a total of 34 points in a win over Enfield. He timed Tom Rodden and Shrimp Foley for the most touchdowns in a game in school history. It was later broken in '74 when Hartford Public Hall of Famer Willie Poole scored 7 in a game against Wilbur Cross. For his efforts, Ken was named the Hartford Times Best Player of the Week. He also looked a lot better doing it than Willie Poole did. Heading into the 70 Thanksgiving showdown with Weaver, Hartford Public High School had not won since 1962. The Owls ended the losing streak with a 24-6 win. Ken rushed for 94 yards, scored 2 touchdowns, and had a 2-point conversion for a total of 14 points. He was named the Sid Kahn MVP of the game for his efforts. The team finished 7-1 that year. The Owls were the city and co-CDC champions, and they finished 5th in the final state poll. Ken was all-city, all-CDC, and honorable mention all-state. The co-captain led the team in rushing yards, 853, and points scored that season. Ken then went on to attend the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. After receiving a full scholarship, he played football there for all 4 years. He was honored by the UAPB Letterman's Club for lettering all 4 years. He knows what it's like to be a Hall of Fame member because 4 of his brothers are in respective sports Hall of Fames. Kenny would like to thank his parents. They raised 13 kids, 3 sets of twins. Ken would like to thank his coaches, Joe Cerrone and Jim White. Right now, he is part of the boys' club as a wrestling coach. And his twin sister, Karen, would like to say, he was a cool brother. He was a cool brother. She also said he got his hard work ethic because, and here's a connection I have with you guys, even though I'm kind of a Windsor boy, we both worked at a Windsor tobacco farm for 4 years, right? We welcome Ken Bailey to the Hartford Public High School Athletic Hall of Fame. All right, here we go. So at the beginning of the evening, I mentioned that there are certain individuals that are synonymous with the city of Hartford or the pub. The next one, this guy's synonymous with the city itself. South End, North End, West End, did not matter. When I spoke to him recently, he would say these sort of things like this. You know what? It's all the same. You're helping a kid. And for all of the individuals in here who work with kids, you are a coach, there's love there. When I asked him, I'll get to it when we get to one of his athletes. I love this line. No one can outwork you if you don't let them, if you don't allow it. That's why we're happy to have up on the stage right now, Harry Bellucci, coach, Hartford Public. It's been a blast for me to just kind of kick back and watch all of the coaches greet their former athletes, especially the 93 and 94 team. And I asked Harry, I was like, so what does it mean? Like, if you could just sum it up in one word, what's it mean to be a part of Hartford Public High School? And he said, pride. It's all about pride. He said, people love to walk around and say this, I went to the pub. Bellucci graduated from Buckley High School in '75. He was a member of both the football and swim teams. After coaching at Buckley for many years, he transitioned to Hartford Public in 1994. From 94 to 22, he was the swim coach at Hartford Public. His 28 years as coach is second longest tenure as a swim coach to the legendary Larry Amon's 40 years. Harry's teams were city champions 8 times. He coached 2 All-State divers, and many of his swimmers broke city records. Coach Bellucci also coached girls tennis and boys golf. His golf teams won 12 city titles. He also found time to coach girls softball for a year at HPHS. Harry became head football coach in 2003. He coached many strong teams, winning 85 games, which is 3rd most in school history. His teams won 13 city titles and 7 conference titles. They also had an 11-game winning streak on Thanksgiving Day that went from 2009 to 2019. Coach Bellucci had 55 players that went on to play in college, 11 in Division I, and had 3 make NFL rosters. Coach Bellucci had many distinguished achievements in his career, including CHSCA's Connecticut High School Coaches Association, CIAC Football Committee Chairperson, being a board member for the CHSCA, and head coach of the Connecticut Senior All-Star Game in 2012 and 2016. But he also said this, while someone used the word distinguished, Harry said, it just meant a lot to me to be part of a distinguished high school like Hartford Public. I was there helping. I was part of it. Today, he is prominently involved in the Bellucci Family Scholarship Fund and the Carmine and Frank Mangini Foundation, providing scholarship assistance to Hartford area students. In 2022, Harry left Hartford Public and was named Executive Director of the Hartford Police Athletic League. For his work in helping raise funding for a new turf field and lights behind the school, the field was named the Harry Bellucci Field in his honor. And here's what I mean by Bellucci is synonymous with Hartford. In just 2 years at being at PAL, he raised over $2.5 million to effect change citywide. When he looked to his mentors, Paul Mazzarella, Hall of Fame member at Hartford Public High School, Jim Brophy over at the Park in Rex, he said, I think I can do this stuff. And he went to Central to become a phys ed teacher. However, before we induct him, in his own words, Harry would like to say, in the heart of every great coach lies an unwavering support system, and that often comes from an incredible partner. Today, I honor my wife, Brenda Mangini Bellucci, whose love, dedication, and patience have been the quiet strength behind all of my professional successes. He is the only Hartford resident inducted into 2 of its high schools' Sports Hall of Fames. We welcome Harry Bellucci, by way of his wife Brenda, to the Hartford Public High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Synonymous with Hartford Public High School, track and field. If you are anybody out there who's involved in sports and you hear Hartford Public High, you have to talk track and field. One of the all-time greats is with us today. We welcome Doriel Furtado, 1976, to the Hartford Public High School Sports Hall of Fame. Doriel Fruit Furtado. They called him Fruit because they couldn't pronounce his last name for some reason. And despite the fact that he was best friends with Robert Lee, stayed out of trouble. And we actually have another award here for Doriel Furtado besides being in the Sports Hall of Fame. This is impressive. In 4 years at Hartford Public High School, Doriel never missed a single day of school and was late only once. Doriel Furtado was one of the most versatile and successful track stars in the storied history of Hartford Public Track and Field. Fruit, as he was called, starred on both the indoor and outdoor track teams. He was an integral part of 7 HPHS state championship teams. 7. As a sophomore in 1974, he finished 5th in the 440 in both the outdoor Class LL and open meets. He was a member of the mile relay team that finished 1st in both meets. The class meet win was the 7th in a row for the powerhouse pub track team. They finished 2nd in the state open, losing by just half a point. As a junior, Doriel had more success. In indoor Class LL meet, he anchored the 1st place mile relay team. It was the Owls' 10th indoor title and 27th overall. In both the outdoor Class LL meet and the open, he was 2nd in the 440-yard race. The mile relay team finished 1st in both meets, and in the open, the team set a state record. The team was 2nd